Welcome back to my channel, Bring Peace into Your Life. Today I would like to talk about men's mental health, and particularly men who have suicidal thoughts and end up having plans to end their life. In my work, I talk to a lot of men who are really struggling. A lot of men will really internalize a lot of stuff. They will not want to share with people. They will feel that sharing their feelings and their thoughts, they may be seen as weak. And it can be very difficult for a man to then open up and express his feelings and say that he's struggling. So many men live in silence in that sense. They keep their feelings to themselves, they keep their struggles to themselves, and they really feel that they can't open up and ask for help. So when I end up speaking to a man who has reached out for help, it's very important to hear them, to witness their struggle and witness their pain that they're going through. So when in the UK, the statistics are really bad. They're really difficult for suicide. So on average, 14 men a day in the UK end their life. Now, that is a shocking statistic and a very sad statistic. And I speak to a lot of men who are feeling suicidal, who have either attempted to take their life in the past or they're planning on an attempt to take their life. And it's very difficult to help and support someone who's going through that. So the highest risk men are aged between 45 and 65. And when I do speak to a lot of men that have these issues and have these thoughts, it doesn't surprise me because I work with it on a regular basis. But I think a lot of people would be surprised with the amount of men who have suicidal thoughts and then go on to complete a suicide, because a lot of men that do have these thoughts, they don't act like they're struggling. So a lot of people think that someone who is suicidal will be getting drunk every night, will be abusing drugs or alcohol, will be very aggressive, will be selling off all their belongings. And really, it's not as dramatic as that. And quite often, it can go under the radar. And especially with men, quite a lot of men who are suicidal don't show it. They put a face on, they put a mask on of being able to cope, of having a good time. And what happens is all of the other stuff is going on internally. So it's really important to ask men in your life, how are you? How are you doing? Are you okay? Are you coping? Especially if they're going through difficult times, especially things like bereavement, loss of a job, financial issues, especially if they're the breadwinner in the family. So if that is the case, it's really important to reach out and ask your male friends, your male family members, how they are and how they're doing, because that then can open up the channels of communication and it can make them feel like they may actually be able to open up and express how they're feeling. 75% of all suicidal deaths are actually contributed to men. So it's a massive amount of men struggling, not telling people that they need help, and really living in silence and suffering in silence, really. Suicide is the single biggest killer of men under 50 in the UK. Just let that sink in for a moment. Just think about the enormity of that and what that actually means in society. There are a lot more people talking about men and mental health issues now than there were when I started in my career. I've been a counsellor for over 20 years, and now there are a lot more charities that look at men's mental health, look at men's groups, and really bringing men together and talking about the fact that it is good to talk and be able to express yourself and talk about your feelings. But when I started out as a counsellor, there wasn't as many opportunities for men to talk as there are now. However, there's still a very, I want to say old-fashioned, there's still a very old-fashioned mindset around men and around their ability to open up and express themselves. For me, I work with it day in, day out. But if I look at the way men are speaking about it and the way men talk about their mental health, it feels very much like my dad's generation, like my grand's generation, of the man as the provider, the strength of the family. He needs to deal with everything internally. He should be able to deal with anything that comes his way. And actually, that's not true. Men are like women as well. Men have feelings, men struggle, men find it difficult to cope with things and situations. And it's really important to acknowledge that with your male friends, your husband, your children, your sons, and show them that it's actually okay to reach out for help and ask for support. It's okay to say, I'm struggling, I need to talk about this. Men quite often don't want to burden their family and people close to them. They really don't want to put that on them, and they feel that they're weak for doing that because they should be the protector of their family, their wife, their children, their sister, their mum. And it's quite hard for them then to think that it's okay to actually open up. So being a therapist and being able to do that for men is really important, and I love my job in general, but especially when I'm speaking to a man who I know is not the type of man who wants to talk about his feelings or does talk about his feelings, but he's actually opening up to me and allowing me to help and support him. It means a lot. And it's something I'm very proud of, that I have that ability to actually help men in this situation and help them express themselves and be open, and actually me giving them the capacity to give them hope that actually the situation that they're going through is not hopeless. There are choices. And even though when they come to me, they feel that suicide is their only choice, I can show them that actually it's not. They have so many other choices, and they have to think about their protective factors. Why are they still here? Is it because of their children? Is it because of their partner? What's keeping them here? And it's really important when you do have a man in your life who is feeling suicidal to talk about these things. What is the most important thing in your life? What's keeping you here? What's stopping you from acting on these thoughts? Because the more a person who's suicidal and is in this mindset thinks about what's important to them, who they may leave behind, the impact on the people that are going to be left behind, it's really important to do that and help them see that perspective. Quite often when a man is having suicidal thoughts, they feel that the people in their life would be better off without them, their wife, their children, their family, because they feel like they're a burden and they're just actually causing them stress, they're causing them problems, and they feel that those people would be a lot better without them, and they would be a lot less stressed, and they would be able to go on and live their life. However, they would be going on to live their life without that man in their life, without their father, without their partner, without their son. And it's really important to help that man to see that perspective and understand the impact those actions would make. In that moment, they're wanting to stop their pain. They're wanting to stop their pain. They don't feel like they have any choices, and they want to release themselves from the psychological and emotional burden that's on them. But if you can actually give that man hope, give them options of things to try, of things to do that could help them become in a more positive mindset and actually help with their mental health issues that they're having and the mental health crisis they're having, that can really give them hope, perspective, and it can give them a feeling that this is going to change and I'm not going to always feel this way. And if you can give them that, then it means that they can look at the fact that there are more options than suicide. There are more options than going to those extreme lengths of them not being here and them not being with their family and being with their friends and their children. I have given many clients hope over the years that I've been working with suicidal clients. Being able to help someone in this way is a privilege. And I know that over my career, I have actually saved people and saved their lives because they have chosen to reach out. They've said, I don't want to feel this way, I don't want to act on these thoughts. And I've heard them, I've valued them, I've seen them, and I've given them hope and perspective on the situation. And that is something that I will value forever because I've been able to give that to someone and I've been able to help someone in that way. And that is something that being a counsellor gives me and actually gives these men that I'm helping, that actually I can change someone's life in that conversation and in that support that I'm offering. If you do have any men in your life that are struggling, or even men in your life that you don't feel that they're struggling, it's really important to reach out. How are you? How are you doing? How are you coping? But especially if a man has gone through a lot, financial issues, issues with their job, bereavement, maybe relationship issues, it's even more important to reach out to that man and see if they're okay and ask if they need any help and support. If you are one of those men, please reach out for support. It's so important to talk, say these things out loud. If you say these things out loud, takes the power away from it. If you hold everything in and don't speak about it, it gives it a lot of power. If you can say it out loud and say, this is how I'm feeling, this is where I am in my headspace, this is where I am, that I don't feel there's any hope, it can really be good to share. And you're then telling somebody how you feel and you can get the support that you need. I really do hope that this video has been helpful. If you have been in a similar situation, either feeling this way or supporting someone who's feeling this way, please put what helped in the comments and hopefully that will help someone else. I really do hope everybody's well and I will see you in the next one.